Welcome to another episode of the Sober Stretch podcast. And it's just me today. Craig can't be with us, but I'm delighted to welcome Hammurabi Fuentes, the creator of The Primal Alchemist on Instagram. And he's dedicated to optimizing lives through functional movement. And we've been following each other for a little while now, Hammurabi, haven't we? And honestly, I look at your account and I think, I need to do that shit with the big bits of wood. My back and the rest of my body's wrecked. So welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been a while that I know we've connected a while for some time now, but we've been talking about coming out and shooting the shit. But yeah, thanks for being here. It's been great. I love
No,
it.
no, thank you. Really. So we were just talking before we pressed record. You're in Long Beach, California. Is that where you're
That's correct.
from? Tell me a
No,
bit about your backstory.
real quick, I was born in Mexico City, and I immigrated here like during the early '80s,
Hmm.
and yeah, it was a different time back then. Definitely than it is now in the '80s, especially in the United States.
Yeah.
Uh, Pretty much grew up here in Southern California, and then I left. I went to China actually, and I was out there for 14 years. I came back 5 years ago here in Long Beach,
Cool.
and yeah, now I'm back here.
And are you happy to be back? Did you enjoy the Chinese experience?
Gary, of course I did. In many ways, and this is associated with me fucking drinking and all that shit, my entire life story. In many ways, in hindsight, I'm really grateful for being in China because I feel that me being a drunk out there saved my life in many fucking ways, and I'll make that correlation a little bit.
Cool.
Um, but yeah, it was a great experience to be out there nonetheless. And then, but coming back here is when I came back to actually know myself. So essentially, I did my own little hero's journey, right? I fucking
Yeah.
went out and I came back, and now we're back here. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And how long have you been sober?
Now for what are we going now? It's I sobriety date is December 10th. Uh, December 10th, 2022, or
Okay,
so.
so
That was
pretty.
the. And you know how I know? This is how I know. Because it's the last time that I fucking spent money on my iPhone, right? Like, like that's the only way that I know. The last time that I
Wow.
drank.
Okay.
Yeah.
So quite recent then,
Hmm.
because when I saw your account, I looked at that and thought, that's the kind of life I want to lead. That's
Hmm.
the kind of connection I want to have with my body, spirituality. And I just saw a man that looked very free and relaxed. And that's why I identified with it straight away. I'm 44. I had a daughter at 40 during COVID, and my lifestyle changed dramatically. And I just start to feel like I'm creaking and cracking and breaking. And when I saw your account, I was like, check this dude.
Right. Well, I
I
appreciate
was
that.
inspired, massively
But
inspired.
yeah, I appreciate that. Well, you're an '80s baby, so I'm as well. I'm 43. I'm gonna be 44 this year, and again, we're gonna try it back out to sobriety, and then I'll make that connection. For those of you guys listening out to this podcast, I can take you through that whole journey and why is it that I have a connection with my body. I mean, why is that important as a part of my sobriety? You know. But yeah, definitely, I can go into that, Gary. But
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd
you
love
let me
to
know.
hear that because I think as Craig and I develop this podcast, we want to talk to people who are experts in certain areas. For example,
Hmm.
ADHD and the connection to alcohol, sobriety and the connection to movement and spirituality. So to me, it's just a pretty natural thing. So tell us about the work you do at the moment first, because that's fascinating.
Right. So I'm a coach. All right. And in China, I had my own fitness brand called Primal Six that I made. Um, and you see those things that I swing, like those club thing. Basically, I started that movement, not the actual clubs, but I was one of the first ones to do it in China, and it kind of merged out there. So it's in the unconventional fitness world. I'm known, and this is how I'm familiar with people around the world, as I was telling you earlier.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's pretty much what I do. When I came back here, I do coach. I'm in coaching, and currently running a club called the Sinners Club, which is basically a it's a exercise movement group that goes into Stoic philosophy and a lot of the principles that help me overcome my sobriety or achieve it, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But when I look at your account, the way you carry yourself and your kind of demeanor to me suggests a man. I know you've been doing this for a long time in China, but it suggests to me a man who's got long term sobriety. You don't strike me as someone who's
Hmm.
recently found
Guys,
sobriety.
Gary, now this is where I get fucking excited to talk about this, you guys. We've all can come across with a relationship, with a definition for sobriety. All right, I'm gonna show you what it means to me, and I'm gonna show you why. I'll share my story. How about this? I've been a
Please
fucking.
do.
I always tell people my smile, my smile is real, but sorry, my teeth are fake, but my smile is real. I used to smoke meth. And I
Okay.
used to, I have a fucking, like, I have my own teeth that says, don't smoke meth. That shit has consequences on you. And in China, I basically, and I've always been an addict, like, to alcoholism all my life. And in China, I got into opiates and drinking. Um, and when I came back here, I fucking never knew about mental health, brother. I fucking never knew. I'm a fucking one of these kids that, was living my generational bullshit, my mommy issues. Um, like all the shit that I've avoided as a kid and I repressed, I lived it. I lived in it, and it reminds me of this idea of the quote from William Blake: "A
Mm.
fool that persists in his folly will end up dead, will end up wise." I like to add, a fool that persists in his folly will either end up dead or wise. No one becomes wise by choice. And I didn't quite understand that, at least in my human experience. And coming back here into Long Beach and being reintroduced after 14 years in society, fucking hell, man, I came back to a whole different place. You know what I mean? The way that I spoke was differently. Like, people are sensitive and shit. Like, it was weird.
Yeah.
It's what it is. I fucking talk about it all the time. And when my problem kind of like, remember, being here in the United States, I was in a society now that it was a forced reflection, where in China I was still a foreigner. No one gives a fuck. You know what I mean? There's no mental health, there's no AA, there's none of that shit. There isn't a lot of support for addicts, especially when I didn't even know I was an addict, right?
Mm.
So I didn't know how to ask for help. But coming back here, really, what the society really reflected, not only my state, but where I was. And after I came to grips, I had personal events. I got arrested. Had personal events that kind of collapsed my life and forced me, like many of us addicts, force us to look at our life,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's when it began. And the last time that I drank was that December 10th aspect of it. And a lot of things came in. It's not to tie it back, because Gary, my fucking mind is all over the place. So you help me out here.
Okay.
So so to kind of came back in the way that I realized sobriety for me, aside from the stop, it's not like we think it's stopping to drink and, like, hanging out into it. Actually, for me, it sparked a relationship with my soul. So
Yes.
to what you're seeing, that about a man that has had sobriety for a long time. And I want to say this to people out there, and I really want to say this because I know that there's people out there like me, and I'll give you an example. When I used to go to AA, and if that's what you're doing, fine, do whatever you need to do, all right. But when I used to go to AA, personally, I stopped because that environment was not suitable for me to do my own healing. At least here, people fucking complained, and I never complained. And what does that got to do to with everything? I feel that in many ways we 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 can't we have this idea that we're going to increase our consciousness but without pain. That's bullshit. There's no
Mm-hmm.
coming to consciousness without pain. So it doesn't mean that we just grow with good things. We grow with bad things. So if you're really going, and I saw a little snippet of your presentation of your podcast, that was a very valid point. Like, if you're struggling, in the height of your addiction, or at least jonesing, or what have you, we deal with those present matters first, whether it could be a physical addiction, right? The physicality of it, meaning the jonesing, your reaction to your body.
Yeah.
I took that as a fucking sign of, like, all right, this is what just I have to go through with it. Like you say, stay to midnight and then fuck off, right? Like, they just go.
Yeah.
That's what's needed in the beginning. I feel like,
Yeah, the beginning, that's an important distinction, isn't it? I don't want people to think that get to midnight, go again is the rest of your
no,
fucking life.
no, it's not that. But and I know what you're doing, and I love it, because we can. I think we can talk about this topic in different stages, right? Because sobriety looks different for different people. And now, since then, look, I've dove into it. I've got into psychotherapy and particularly Jungian analysis. I've attended presentations where people talk about they're fucking, what do you call it? Doctors talking about how to heal addicts. And it's fucking disappointing, mate, because you realize that it's also a business for them. From the horse's mouth, I've heard it, bro. That
Mhm.
psychotherapy, drugs, they just create, they don't really solve an issue. And this is what why sobriety may feel eternal for me. And I'm gonna tell you what you see. And this is for all of you guys out there listening, look this shit up. Spiritus contra spiritum. Okay? Now, this has nothing to do with religion. A conversation with your soul is just you and your soul. What that means is that I never knew, like, I've always been an addict and I've always been very chaotic in my life. And it's like, well, what is that? The teachings of Jung, he basically Carl Jung, the Swiss
Yeah.
philosopher, basically he says that every addict, we have an unconscious desire to want to be saved. So we're so fucking chaotic and we bring it out, right? But the thing is, this is unconscious behavior manifesting through our lives, you know? And we fucking go and we spiral, bro. I mean, how many times have you been fucking shit-faced and you feel horrible, that feeling that you woke up, what the fuck did I do last night? And then you go again, and you
Yeah.
go again, and you go again, and guilt, like all of these emotions. Well, all of this is brewing inside of you. So let's say if you're in those early stages, just know that that little mustard seed that's brewing inside of you, that's going to be responsible for the your opposite, which is called an
Mhm.
enantiodromia. Enantiodromia, that's your fucking 50-pound word for the fucking week. It's a great word, which means the conversion to your opposite. You take a psychic behavior and you push it so much that what happens is you flip. I'll give you an
Mhm.
example of this, Gary. This is why you have, let's say, a fucking Christian, I don't know, senator that ends up smoking meth at the age of 45
Yeah.
because his fucking life, he was trying to live it all perfect. Do you know all of a sudden? And all of a
Yeah. And then,
sudden, this motherfucker, boom, explodes because, and here's back to sobriety. There's no good. There's this idea that we gotta be good. Like I gotta heal myself, okay? And
mm.
then I can go into how I help people now in terms of what I tell people. And it's basically that when we do this, um, I'm getting off of it here. I don't want to go too ahead, too forward, but
Go
what
with
I'm
the
referring
flow.
to, yeah, go with the flow. Okay, so whenever, how do I say it? The spiritus contra spiritum is Latin for the only way that you can deal with the demon of alcohol. Okay, let's look at alcohol as a demon, because you very well know, Gary, that when we were both at the heightened stage, we're like fucking demons, bro. I used to
Mhm.
have glassy eyes. You're
Yeah.
possessed. You're
Yeah.
fucking possessed. Now, there's different models of looking at addiction, but fuck it, I'm not a fucking model. I'm a human being. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not
Yeah. Yeah.
this idea of explaining this. So we need to figure out how to articulate this. At its source, I am the one. I am of a believer that we have a spiritual problem at its source, and it's not what we think. We tend to think of spirituality with fucking religion. Maybe early Christian Gnosticism does, but what I'm trying to refer to is this spirituality in the sense of what psychology was meant to be, which is the study of the soul, not the
Mhm.
study of the psyche. Is referring to the soul, not
Yeah. Yeah.
necessarily. You know what I mean? Go ahead,
Yeah.
continue, Garrett. Before, yeah, get in here with me.
Sorry. No, no, it cut out there. And that it's like the senator that ends up smoking crack. It's a pressure cooker situation, isn't it? And I don't know if you felt like this. My last weekend of drinking was the valve coming off, and I fucking knew it. When I went home on the Monday, I knew that there was this cataclysmic change, and like you say, I had to push it to the very end to then initiate my own recovery. And but I don't like to tell people that. Or I might be wrong, but the idea of rock bottom and these kind of
Let me explain
ideas,
it.
I think they're
Yeah.
all so subjective and they're
Hmm.
all different for different people. So I don't like to attach that. So, like, when was your
Right. That's a great thing. That's, and let's go back into the Asia, like China aspect of it. The reason why I mentioned that I think China really cradled me is that, well, first of all, you can buy fucking booze in China at any time, and you're a foreigner, so over there they have the notion, specifically back in 2007 when I was there, it was a new thing, right? So not only do you have China and Shanghai having an an influx of foreigners, so there's like societies and people mixing for the first time.
Hmm.
That has a lot to do with this, and I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't hold the stigma if I go into a store and buy a fucking, buy I used to always drink vodka in the morning, fucking 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, mother. Yep, you can
Vodka's a
buy that
good
shit
one
in
for the
China.
morning, though, isn't it? Because it doesn't leave it doesn't leave a trace amongst your office workers or
You know. And for me, I was a teacher at the time. I was teaching at university, but it was just the amount of alcohol, right? That percentage of alcohol that I needed to,
Yeah.
and I never drank for fucking pleasure. I realized that because I was always isolated. I never drank for pleasure. I thought about that. In fact, very early, I isolated myself. But going back to this rock bottom situation, I came back here to the United States uh, to then remember I was away for 15 years, 14, 15 years or so, and then my family never fucking knew me, brother. Like, you
Mm.
don't know. We're family, but we never talked to each other. I came here only to interact with them, and then that exploded in front of me, and I realized why I fucking left in my own self. Why I never felt supported or whatever the fuck. Boo hoo hoo, cry me a river, and I'm gonna get into my other side of the character. So rock bottom for me was many things. I got divorced, but that spiraled me into even more drinking and actually being in the street now. I have a fucking apartment here, but now, like, Gary, I'm talking about one of these places where I've shat myself in the fucking street. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
fucking passed out, like that kind of shit. Like, where, especially here, the homeless population is high, right? Where I don't judge, bro. I'm lucky that that's not me. Do you
It's
know what I
easy
mean?
not to judge though when you've been there, isn't it? I think
Oh yeah.
the empathy that you create in yourself once you get sober is it's a service to society getting sober, isn't it? Because of the way you treat people and behave.
It's not only a service. I've been here fucking 5 years now, bro, and I've never contributed to community until now. It took me 2.5 years, So
Yeah.
sobriety is, like I said, it's a relationship with your soul. But the thing, and here's the beauty of it, that you get to decide what that looks like for yourself. You get to decide that no one does for you. Now, going back into this rock bottom after I got divorced, um, I got into a fucking fight, Gary. And I was like, and one of these fights where, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm
Yeah.
a 42-year-old man. I'm fighting. What am I doing? I don't fight. This is in the night, brother. And for me, that was it was a big thing because here's no one's fighting, right? There's none of that aspect, but my energy was driving me. And you
Yeah.
know what? To this day, I say this: that person that I got into a fight with was my guardian angel. It was my guardian angel, like literally, because it didn't scare me in the sense I gotta stop drinking. Like that was it. Like I had worse shit happen to me,
Hmm.
you know. But the thing is, like for that moment, my immediate sense was gratitude. After, because it took me 3 days to get sober from that bender.
Yeah.
Just what it was. I'm like, fuck. I woke up and there's blood in my fucking house. I'm like, what is going on? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh,
Yeah.
I get it. Again. I'm in one of these places. Fuck. And then that kind of got me like thinking, like, I could have, you start going into the thing and then feeling guilty. And I think that's what kind of pushed it for me. That kind of like, okay. And then I filmed it on July 25th on Christmas. I filmed a ceremony for my own self, for my own spiritual practice that at that time, I didn't know that's what I was doing. And from that December 12th to July 3rd, and this is very important, from December 22 to July 3rd, I got a spiritual awakening in my fucking living room, Gary, at 3:30 p.m. on July 3rd, which I've been trying to explain now for the past couple years, and the works of Carl Jung and becoming an analyst now have are the only ones that I can articulate what has happened to me, and this is
Hmm.
what I hope to discuss with you to help people out there and to show them what um, maybe a different approach of looking at sobriety. You
Yeah.
know,
Almost see. Are you suggesting you're kind of subconsciously seeking out an intervention? You were open to the
You
The
know,
idea of
I'm
something
right.
influencing you mentally.
Right. I'm suggesting that when we like, well, a few things here that if you're going through a chaotic behavior, right, and you're in crisis mode, right, you know, you know that you're not gonna stop regardless of what fucking people tell you. You know what I mean? Let's be real
Yeah,
about that.
yeah,
You don't give a fuck if whoever comes into your life. You're gonna figure out what I used to do. Like, how the fuck am I gonna get this person to shut up so that I can just go to the street? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like that's what it is.
yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, you guys. This is called so when you're at the height of being an addict, I guess I have to introduce Jungian psychology. Okay, let me introduce Jungian psychology because it's very relevant in hindsight now. The mind of an addict coincides aligned with the mind of the trickster archetype,
Hmm.
right? We're fucking clever. We're clever as fuck on how to get that next drink, where to get it from. You know what I mean? How to say the things that we need to say, so
Yeah,
we can go about our way and no one gets in our fucking way of our booze or whatever it is that we're doing. That's very relevant. Now, the trickier you are, just know that you can also use that to help yourself. That's what
hmm,
I meant to say. That
yeah,
that it's not just for you to feed your this demon, but you can also use that same. What got you into the party is going to get you out of the party
yeah.
eventually. That's how the way that I perceive this. Now, that spiritual awakening was very very vital for me because after July 3rd of 2023, I already knew I don't have to drink again. And what Jung describes what happened to me, or how is that I gave birth to the God within myself, the spirit.
Hmm.
Back to that initial terminology, spiritus contra spiritum, that the only way that you can fight a spirit is by awakening the spirit within. Hence, the primal alchemist awakening spirit. Cravings, everything goes away when you're aligned with your highest self. That shit's real. Like, that shit's
Yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That shit's
It's
fucking real.
something.
It isn't the reason why, Gary, I work out so much. It's not because not just because I'm a fucking trainer. Because I used to be a trainer. I used to be a fucking fat trainer, a trainer that would preach something but wouldn't live it,
Wouldn't embody it. Yeah.
wouldn't embody it. But the reason why that I train is not, I don't train out physicality because I'm a fucking trainer. Is because the kingdom of heaven is within me, and this is the least. These are the standards that I accept for myself in my body, in my mind, and my spirit. The body of an athlete, the mind of a stoic, the spirit of a warrior, and the heart of a poet. That's what I'm after. Anyone can choose what they want, but for me as a man, in my human experience this time around, this is what I'm after. So after sobriety, sparked the connection with my soul. And now, what's left after I treated myself with disrespect, with the most disgusting, vile shit that I could have done? I did it onto myself. Now, the only thing that's left is self mastery. It's
Hmm.
a fucking and it. I'm not saying that as a goal. It means the attainment of what it takes to want to master yourself. Why wouldn't I want to live my life like that after being so chaotic? That's where I'm at now, and this is what you see.
Yeah, and it's that perpetual learning, isn't it? You don't learn for a period of time to then say, "Oh, I'm solved now, I'm fixed." You you kind of create momentum within yourself, and then it just opens other avenues of exploration and spirituality and
Hmm.
open-mindedness and empathy, and suddenly you are a different human being.
Oh yeah,
Like a
and see,
different human being. Like I'm still Gary, inherently Gary, that was hilarious after 7 pints, and then, but I'm not a prick after 11 anymore because I don't do that. And you get this blank canvas to recreate, not maybe not even recreate, create the person that should have been coming through all those years.
right
But
now,
also,
Gary. Now,
when you've
Gary.
gone decades with no clarity, it's impossible to do any of that.
Yeah. Gary, and I want to say that just careful with words with people, so I can give context to people,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, of
So,
course.
for example, this should aspect of it, like I feel that can create stress for people, and I'm gonna show
Mhm.
you now into the way that I work with people, or the way that and the way that I unfucked myself, right? Here's the thing: we think that we need to fix ourselves, right? I need to fix my problem. I
Mhm.
need to fix my drinking problem. Okay, like this is it. It turns out, I tell people, get that anxiety out of you. Because if you were anything like me, that created a lot of anxiety. Because like, how the
Mm.
fuck am I gonna get over meth, opiates, and fucking alcohol? I need to solve
Instant,
this shit.
it's an
How? Yeah,
instant
you know what I mean?
pressure,
Like
isn't
how?
it?
Right? It's like
Yeah.
how. So now you never solve a problem. Well, what the fuck is he saying? Is this guy saying I should just keep on saying it? Like, no, we change it. You outgrow the fucking problem.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's going to take you away. That's going to take you away from having this anxiety and this pressure. That's number one. Like, let's get that into your thing. The
Mhm.
second one, there's no coming to consciousness without pain. Okay. So we cannot expect to go whatever it's going to go undertake, whether that be drinking or whether that be stopping or drinking, and we think that it's going to be a breeze. So the faster you can come to this fucking conclusion that it's going to suck regardless, then that's it. Because it can't be any other way. That's just how it is. There's no coming to consciousness without pain.
But it's almost an upgrade on the previous situation, isn't it? People think sobriety is going to be X, Y, and Z, misery, pain, suffering, and it is in part those things. But it is better than the previous alternative.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got that mindset that, oh, this is going to be better than the current situation, I think that instantly takes the pressure away from you because
Absolutely.
nothing's like using and drinking.
Absolutely. But I also, here, this is how I also got motivated. And I'm going to tell you why, because there's maybe people out there that get motivated like this. Okay. And let's do it like this, Gary. Let's kind of like do. Have you ever gotten your heart broken?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, look, I mean, I used to be fucking get my heart. I used to be addicted to falling in love, like getting my heart broken. Right? Now, when I tell people you get your heart broken, you're all fucking bummed out. I was like, good. That's amazing. That's a reflection of your capacity to love. It has nothing to do
Mhm.
with that other person.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right? So what I realized, what I was doing with all my anger, all my anxiety, all of this, I was expanding myself. And as you say, it sucks, but it does get better. But now, what can we learn from this expansion, all right, of negative emotions? This is what we can learn. That Gary and I are having conversations like this that are
Mhm.
letting you know that now you are able to meet people where you've met yourself. You have the humility, you have the empathy. It turns all of these bad feelings turn into superpowers. So
Mhm.
just know that if you're feeling really, really bad, you keep at it, that's gonna work in your favor because it's gonna produce the opposite emotion in it. That you're not gonna. There's no more fear, so to speak. That goes away because you know fear because you became fear
Mhm.
during your fucking state. Come
Mhm.
on, I'm gonna tell all the alcoholics out there. You know how much we put our bodies through the ringer. And how fucking guilty we felt in the morning. And I was a blackout drunk, guys. I was a fucking blackout drunk. I was a habitual line stepper. I would forget. I'd fucking forget. And I'd forget for hours, like 10 hours. I was like, holy shit. And people were like, no, you just don't want to remember, mate. I was like, no, no, you're just not.
No, no,
I have to.
science fucked me. I'm telling you, I don't remember any of that. But yeah, I mean, the resilience required to
Mm-hmm,
live a life of addiction is it takes bollocks. It takes
mm-hmm,
balls to live through that and put yourself through that punishment rigorously over and over again. And everybody thinks that the sobriety is the harder option, but you've already proved to yourself
mm-hmm,
you've got the nerve to do it.
mm-hmm,
But how do you think that? It's impossible to think that until you've got maybe even 2, 3 weeks, sometimes a
mm-hmm,
week for some people, if they're switched on, because you're acquiring wisdom with every heartbreak, with every blackout. You're acquiring wisdom with every relationship broken, with every job loss. You are in some way preparing yourself. Alcoholism prepares you for sobriety.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And
You
yeah, it
know?
sounds fucking weird too, you guys. That what he said, alcohol prepares you for sobriety, alcoholism. And I'd add with that aspect of that what what the difference now becomes is you going through the process, right? Because a lot of us fall off for whatever reason. We fall off for whatever reason, right? And I've fallen off too. What will you know that most likely will happen after sobriety is you're gonna fuck up. Because sobriety is not a linear path, right? You know what I mean? It's not a linear path, you know. And you but it does prepare you for that if you kind of keep at it. So I'm not sure if your viewers are in the early stages or the majority of them or kind of like in the healing stage of it. That'd be a
I
I don't know
think
if you're familiar with some of your questions you get.
I think there's a bit of a mix, to be honest. I think there are people that require the content to keep them motivated in early sobriety. Then there are people
Hmm.
that enjoy dipping their toe in because they're done now and they're sorted, but they just enjoy having some access to it as a reminder not to go back there. And then obviously there are people that are fucked. You know, I would say the majority of people are like, please keep doing your carousels because they're keeping me going. You know,
They're
so
great, brother.
it's kind of yeah. I feel like a an anchor for a lot of people that are struggling in this moment. So I
Well,
would say
Gary,
they're the majority, but I'm not sure really.
Gary, you are an anchor, and I'll tell you what, like the way that I hear it is, and you're doing, it's funny because you're doing, you've got the wounded healer archetype. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what that is.
Yeah,
Now
enlighten us. Go on.
you're sharing your experience, all right, and in order to, you're embodying it and helping others along their journey. That is the wounded healer archetype. We're both doing that, and that's how I found you. I found you because there was a time where I said I got sober. It's like, okay, what do I do with this? Because I feel like the worst thing that happened to me already happened to me. I'm not fucking kidding. I didn't
Yeah.
kill myself, bro. I should have been dead several fucking times over. But here I am. All right. So that's what it is. So then, like yourself, I reached out to people that I felt were embodying, and I found that's how I found you. I was like, oh, that's great. Like people are doing this, right? And then at the same time, I was going through my own individual growth, and I was like, well, you know, what? I don't want to identify myself as this, but I was like, you know what? That's not the important part in hindsight, where you want to take it or how do you want to go about it. But I want to start talking about it, about not just because before I would just do content on clubs, club bells, and these singing things, but now I'm talking more about a reflection that's more aligned with my authenticity of helping people, and not just people that are sober. Because guess what, Gary? Let's talk about the fucking addictions that no one's talking about, like food. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like porn, like fucking,
How
like
long have you
being,
got?
do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah.
so addiction is not just what we think. Because look, I've been a fucking stigmatized as a fucking alcoholic, fucking drug addict, and all this other shit. And now it's like, at least I can fucking own up to it,
Yeah,
But
yeah.
other people are not fucking owning up to their shit.
And
But
that is actually the one message that needs hammering home. Once you open up, it's as simple as that. It's just it's the key that unlocks the door, isn't it?
Mhm.
People will go 20 years and won't look in the mirror and go, I'm an alcoholic, when the one thing they have to do is just look in the mirror and say, I'm an alcoholic. Because it's not rocket science. It's,
It's not.
you are what
But
you are. You have become what you've become for various reasons. Now it's just fucking time to sort it out.
right, and look, and let me. Sure, this is exciting. All right, this is associated to linguistics, and not only that, but if you believe, do you know what abracadabra means? Have you ever heard? You
Oh, do you know
become
what?
what.
About 3 weeks ago, I did, and I can't remember for the life of me. Go on. Strangely, it came into my life recently.
Okay, now, all right, I need to put
Something
this
about
disclaimer.
opening from
Yeah,
Spanish, abrir, I think, isn't it?
it's abracadabra. I'm gonna break it down what it means, and I'm gonna tell you what it is. But I need to say this, guy. I want to be careful, and I want you guys to know that I'm talking about myself right now. Okay. Um. The term I am an alcoholic. I am an addict. I am. Now, I remember I study models of alcoholism. Not only do I attend these fucking conferences for people, and I'm looking and seeing that I'm realizing that, and also attending groups. I stopped going to groups because I realized that for myself, I kept on putting myself this diminishing beliefs. I am an alcoholic, so that means that this is my behavior, right? I
Mm.
stopped saying I am. I stopped saying that I am this instead. I had to change it. And abracadabra means we become what we say. I am, right? So I started saying, you know what? I have a fucking alcohol problem, right? And any ism now, because there's models for addiction, right? We have the religious model of good and bad, right? We have like the fucking childhood model of what it is. We have the inner repressed state model. So different models of way of looking at it. And for me, it didn't work for me telling myself that I am. You know, I used to. I, I used to be a lot more conscious of my self-deprecating behavior, and then I stopped that because I was one of these guys that came into AA with a notepad ready to take notes of how I'm gonna stop to drink. And then
Yeah,
I
yeah.
realized this is not that. And then I was like, okay, if this is not that, and people are just in rightfully so, whatever whoever they had to do was just complaining, that's fine. But I went to do the work. I wanted to do the work. I wanted someone to tell me how can you stop drinking? It was like, well, and then I realized, well, I can tell you how I stopped drinking, and I can tell what you do, what how it goes, and give a beacon of hope for others.
Mm.
And then this is when I realized, okay, regardless of where you're at, right? Like this I am, be careful in not necessarily casting spells on you. Change it. I am struggling with alcohol. I am struggling with alcohol. But this is temporary. This too shall pass. Like figure that shit out. Play with the words. The power of words is so important.
Hmm.
Now, it's really,
Well, they're
really
like
important.
spells, aren't they? They're very.
That's why they call it spelling, bro.
Yeah.
That's what abracadabra means, and it's in Arabic. Abracadabra. It's like that's the root cause of this word. But now going back into this, this is why I use the Jungian model of getting myself out of this, or trying to unfuck my mind, so to speak. I changed the script on myself. I changed the script, and of course, you guys, if you're drinking alcohol, like if you're drinking vodka, like the way I would, of course I'm fucking josing, cause it's a fucking, it's a carcinogen, like not a carcinogen, it's a, what do you call it? It's a
Yeah,
poison.
yeah,
Your
yeah.
body's gonna
Poison.
fucking hate
I
it,
think
you know.
that too
So
as well.
so look, I wasn't one to say to give my will to something else. In in AA model or in the religious model, you're a bad person, so you got to give yourself to God,
Yeah,
and
it's a
that's fine.
it's a
Look,
character flaw,
it's
isn't
a
it?
character flaw. Fuck no, do that. If you can get stuck there, and then you identify now with the group. You're no longer you. And that it's important because sobriety is different for different fucking people. You know what I mean? So I knew that, and this is another principle with the Jungian principle is that in my human experience, I found out one thing, Gary. I found out that that salvation and addiction had two things in common. They were both selfish and they were both lonely. They did not happen in groups for me.
Hmm.
Okay? Think about it. At the height of your addiction, you know yourself when you were fucking drinking and at your worst that you're being selfish.
Yep.
It's selfish. What's more selfish than addiction? Salvation.
Yeah.
Do you understand me? What's more
Yeah,
selfish than
yeah,
addiction? Salvation,
yeah.
brother.
Well, I'm going to save
Why?
myself. I'll be back in 3 years. Fuck off.
Exactly.
It's what
That's
it is, isn't it?
salvation. Yeah, and I don't talk to my family because of that. The price of my sobriety came at a cost, and it wasn't free because fucking freedom isn't free. All right? I lost. If you want to be born again, that means that you have to fucking kill the identity that you used to be identified with. That's what born again means. And that doesn't happen by saying I'm born again. That happens every fucking day the way that you show up for yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not like, oh my God, look at me, I'm born again, and like,
No, no,
no,
no. You give birth.
every day.
It's active. It's not passive. You're giving birth to yourself, aren't you?
And what does that mean? That's love. Love is active. It's a verb. So you love yourself every fucking day, and exercise is not a duty. It's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't stop. I continue to read. I continue to work on myself because it's just what it is. And your spirituality again also transforms. So these things, it's not like you stop, you know what I mean? Like it's so I want to tell you guys like if you're in crisis mode, just know that your body has the ability to withstand that shit. Like
Hmm.
it's an amazing thing. You got to be willing to through it. And I guess the religious analogy would be Christ descends into fucking hell. 3 days in the hell. And
Yeah.
an addict can kind of say would probably tell you. I can tell you what he would feel, right? And it's amazing how much we can take these like allegories or analogies and to apply them within ourselves. And yeah, so this, and I want to say this to people. I think this is a very important thing that kind of can help you. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life, and you will call it fate. For a long time, I thought I was an
Mm.
alcoholic. What it is, I had an alcohol problem. And of course, if you fucking drink, because I have an addictive personality, like of course you're gonna want to keep on going at it.
But
So
is
you
it?
need to go ahead.
No, no. Go on. Finish.
No,
Sorry.
no, you're good. What I'm trying to get at is that we're acting out an unconscious behavior all along.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And then how do you do that? Well, look, I'm gonna say go talk to a doctor. You know what? I'm one of these fucking people. Rehab failed me. Psychotherapy helped me, failed me. AA, Narcotic Anonymous groups failed me. I was failed. I'm one of these people that didn't find salvation outside in my human experience. And I tried, Gary. I fucking tried, brother. But that was not there. So I'm here to let you guys know that healing is done from within. How many fucking Mexicans have you met with the name Hammurabi, Gary?
Zero.
Exactly. And I'm going to tell you why that means. Hammurabi is, I started looking into my name. Hammurabi is he's known for an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, the first written law code. And after my awakening, this is fucking like last year, I met someone that told me, your actually name means healer. Kingman is a healer. All my life, I'm a Libra. I believe in the esoteric shit. Like, now, not a belief, I know it now. I know it now for myself in the way that applies. I needed to heal myself, brother, to show other people that it can be done. Now, how I articulate that to other people now is a lifelong journey of reading. I'm always reading. I'm always just trying to expand to be able to contribute and pay it forward and have a lot of things in my toolbox that I can reach out for. That's the way that I see it now, because that's what I needed to do for myself. So, we all, like Gary, you becoming you and reaching your level where you're at now and being the fully individual expression of what it is that Gary is now impacting the world. So in many ways, in Jungian terminology, Gary is on his way of what we call individuation. I'm gonna explain that concept right now. And Jung said, life really does begin at 40. Up until then, we're just doing research. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we spend trying to build an ego or a healthy ego. And I didn't build a healthy ego, so it was really easy for me to let it go. You gotta kill that shit, that ego aspect. But the ego is not all bad. It's there to tell you things that reflects things about yourself. I'll give
Yeah.
you an example. If you're fucking jealous about somebody, oh my god, that motherfucker! Look at Gary and his sobriety, Mr. Goody Goody Two Shoes. Fuck that guy. Well, that's a reflection that maybe
You need to stop
you,
drinking.
you're not working hard enough to keep yours, motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like what the Gary
Yeah.
Gary's not your problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, go ahead.
Moaning and whining is purely projection. Of course it is.
And if you want to know the secret, you guys, at the source of it, don't fucking complain. Don't complain. Complaining only may feel good, but it snowballs you into disaster.
Oh, it's as addictive as the drink.
If anything, you guys, you fucking gratitude every day. I wake up. By the way, I'm in the West Coast. I wake up every day at 3:30, and I always thank, always gratitude, whatever it is. I fucking every day gratitude is the way.
I think
You know.
gratitude is the one thing that doesn't never exists in an alcoholic's life or an addict's life because they're too busy thinking about their horrible lot. So it's hard to get that perspective. But the gratitude momentum ball starts rolling pretty damn quickly, doesn't it? And
Oh
then
yeah.
it becomes something that's indispensable to recovery. It's the absolute for me. That and meditation were the two things that kept me sober for the first sort of 6 months.
And that works, and you found it. And absolutely, gratitude is basically it changes the script. Well, you're like, I'm Robbie. Well, I just woke up and I'm fucking hungover and I feel bad that I don't know what the fuck I did last night or I fucking fucked up, bro. Get in there and say that you're thankful that you're fucking alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That at
there's a
least
mattress under your bed and a
that,
roof over your head.
yeah, like be grateful for that, and do your bed too, you guys. I know this is an AA thing. If you wake up, do your bed. I used to, because at times that's all I had. At
Hmm.
doing my bed was all I had, and that's great. When people are like, "What do you mean?" Like they're like, "Oh, you like?" I always do my bed, you know, and they're like, "Why is that?" Well, it's because you don't get it. Like sometimes that's the only thing that I had that I accomplished in one day.
Hmm. Yeah.
And this is I'd get up like early in the morning, teach my class, and I'd drink because I have this ability to be a functional alcoholic, and I pass out by 11, I wake up by 1, I go back to the store and get drunk again, and it's your loop. And if you know that if you're drinking, we lose time,
Hmm.
perception of time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Completely. Completely. Years escape you suddenly.
It does. It they definitely do, and they definitely do escape you. But I definitely, that's kind of going back into that aspect of like now where I'm at with sobriety, you know. But but by the way, Gary, the rabbit hole is deep, so we can go into a psychology function, into any spiritual aspect of it that I'm trying to get at. I just want to see what would be more for your viewers.
I think the majority of people that are deep in the throes of alcoholism, let's separate it from drugs right now because my account's
Okay.
predominantly based around alcoholism. But um, there is there's a chasm in their life, I think, that needs filling with spirituality. And but can, in your eye, define spirituality? Because people think it's like woo woo and oh, it's not going to save me, it's not going to fix me, it's too wet, it doesn't have enough
I'm
substance.
I'm gonna define it in many ways um, with a quote. Okay, Rumi. In all religion there is love, yet love has no religion. Okay. Now, what that means is that at its core, spirituality is a connection with your own soul, right? Religion, where religion is man-made, spirituality is just you straight. And whether we look at this from an Eastern philosophy of your higher self or in the I Ching, or Western philosophy of the early Christian Gnostics, at the end it's a connection with ourselves, all right? And this is what I meant, where that sobriety was not stopping a drink, you guys. It's getting to know yourself,
Mhm.
and it's not necessarily the events that the person that you should have been. No, not that. It actually, you are the person that I am the person that I am because all my alcohol addictions, all my addictions. So I'm very grateful for those experiences. So spirituality then comes back into how you treat yourself every day. And it's not saying that you are a god. It doesn't work. People have a mis fucking idea about that. But here it is in the spiritual world. Gary, you are the eyes through which the divine experiences itself. I
Mhm.
am that such. We're all the Godhead in that regards. Where Christianity looks at the world as building blocks. We create the world like this, right? Where Hinduism or Eastern philosophy approaches this as us being the Godhead, and it's
Mhm.
this is just an experience, right? Now, I'm one of the people. I don't believe in a I don't believe that God is something that you should believe in. I believe it's more God is something that I experience. You
Yeah.
understand that? Within
Mhm.
myself. Uh, and that allows me now to embrace my brother, to embrace the community, and to embrace anyone because I don't put God between me and you. It's inside of me.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that relationship, you get to define what that looks like for you. That's how I define spirituality. And at its core, it it is just you. I mean, just it's just you and the way
Just
that you
you.
define that for yourself. It's crazy.
But when you're standing in front of the mirror and you say, "I am an alcoholic," I know you kind of wanted to steer away from that idea, but for me, that was the best definition I could give to myself for the situation that I was in. I was aware that I was X, Y, and Z as well, but current at that time, the alcoholism defined me more than anything. Really,
Hmm.
it controlled me. It controlled the path of my day, my finances, my relationships.
Hmm.
So I felt that saying that was a massive first step of accountability. And I wasn't frightened to admit it. And once I admitted it and I said those particular words in that particular way, I had gone over a boundary and then was able to start embodying someone that didn't define himself as an alcoholic. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that's well said, and that's gonna go coincide with what we mentioned earlier about stages of alcoholism, stages of where are you in crisis mode or
Mm.
not.
Yeah.
Gary, what you just said is very applicable to into that stage, that initial stage. Okay, now let's go back away from semantics. It's recognizing your involvement in your problem.
Hmm.
Okay, that's what
Yeah.
that's how I interpret that. Now, when you go to an AA model, they say you have to accept that you have a problem, right? You accept it, right? Um, I went about it in the way of like I created awareness for it first, and I'm gonna tell you the difference. For the majority of my life, I would drink without thinking that I had a problem. I would just fucking drink. Maybe other people saw it, but I just drank. But what's the difference between creating awareness and accepting it? Accepting it is once you're ready to do something about it. Okay?
Yeah.
When you accept it, so when you said, fuck, I'm an alcoholic, like, damn, like, this is now, you're recognizing, shit, I have this fucking problem, right? And this ism it's not and you're very right, and I was an alcoholic too, like meaning once you have a physical reaction to alcohol, you're a fucking alcoholic, bitch.
Yeah.
Like that's just what it is, you know what I mean? It's like you just can't. Some people are really good at not dealing with that physical reaction, so they don't have to drink the next day. Where like me, I would have to fucking drink immediately, and then I would go in spiral. So yes, I was an alcoholic in that regards. So that for the beginning stages, uh, admitting to yourself, hey, and that's you're reclaiming it, at least having awareness. And this is very important for not just alcoholism. If you are indolent, if you're an indolent person, okay, there's a difference of an indolence that you're aware about and difference of an indolence that you're not aware about. They
Yeah.
will produce different fucking things. Same goes with alcoholism. Are you aware of it or you're not aware of it? You know what I mean? Because some people may not be aware of it. So it sounds to me, Gary, when you fucking look in the mirror and you told like, we've all been there. I'm a fucking alcoholic. It's because we're ready. We're
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You're fucking ready. Like we're gonna go. We don't know what's gonna happen, but we're ready to go and face this shit forward. You know?
Yeah. It goes from knowledge to admitting, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's weird. You can carry that knowledge around with you for years and years and years, but there's still something preventing that push to admitting it. Because really,
Mm-hmm.
not a lot changed for me. Nothing was different inherently, but just the actual saying of the words, that was
It's
it.
liberating. It's
It is.
liberating.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
liberating.
yeah.
And guys, I'm gonna tell you something. Like I post all kinds of shit about myself now that I'm kind of like diving in, and this is for the other side. Like once you accept your own flaws, no one can use them against you. No
Yeah,
one.
so true. That gives
It's
you
a fucking
power. Gives you
superpower,
power.
bro. I feel like a fucking god. He's like, what do you mean? Oh, look, he's a megalomaniac. Of course, motherfucker. Do you know what it takes to save your own life? Do you know what it takes? Like
Yeah.
that's the fucking truth. Like I think very highly of myself, and I've set a particular set of standards that I want to live by because I didn't have any growing up. I didn't
Mm.
have that guidance. I mean, fuck it. I want to become the man that I felt that I never had in my life,
Yeah.
and that's now my relationship with myself. Am I still a fucking asshole every fucking day? I have to, but I'm aware of how I direct my behavior and my choices, you know. But it's there, and it began, you guys. I said 43-year-old. I woke up very late in my life, Gary. I woke up at the age of around 38 or so.
But I think the people that tend to wake up late in life from stuff that we've gone through, the pain and suffering
Hmm.
created, without sounding like a wanker, such wisdom and knowledge that I'm not sure I could have acquired that otherwise. I
Gary,
really
oh,
needed
yeah,
the misery and the pain and the darkness to become someone that's now comfortable enough to be a face of sobriety and admit
right,
all my failings and reveal my past. Don't care. Couldn't care
right.
less because I'm powerful because I've accepted it myself. So, like you say, oh, you're going to use a character flaw I'm aware of against me. I already know that and I'm working on it. So fuck off. You
Yeah,
know?
I'll sound like a wanker. I don't have a problem with it. How do I say it? Yeah, bro. Like, and this is to give people hope that are in the midst of the fucking in the midst of your
Yeah.
fucking alcohol fucking debauchery, bro. Know that the that negative, that whatever discomfort, shame, all those that cocktail of emotions, it's what produces this kind of wisdom.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That's what it produces. I fucking essentially been in a pile of my own shit. You know? So in me admitting that, I had to go through all that shit. Like this is why I say I thank God for all my addictions because it fucking gave me it made me who I was, and that's what it is because it like there's like you don't sound like a wanker to me, Gary. If anything, like having recognizing, I say like that's amazing. That fucking man, like I used to think like having a degree would make you or having the job, and I have degrees and all that. Fuck all that
Same, I
bullshit,
thought that
bro. I
too.
used to fucking think fuck all of that, bro. I see people differently now. I look, I respect everyone, respect, but at the same time, I'm like, you can see bullshitters because I was the biggest bullshitter of them all, the
Yeah.
trickster archetype, brother. Now, but the addiction gives us what is called the shadow side of the trickster archetype, and this has a lot to do with sobriety now, or with anyone that are looking forward to that are looking to get recovered. You know what I mean? The shadow is the shadow is all of our repressive emotions that we don't face.
Yeah.
Now, this is where Jungian psychology kind of helps a lot. It was through shadow work that I'm able to get this out there. That you bring unconscious behaviors and thoughts, you know, into
To the
light.
fore. Yeah.
Yes, and to help you. When you realize that, then it becomes like this. I need a drink because my body's jonesing, and then the further you go away from that, you're like, oh shit. Then you start diving more into yourself. You know, you start diving more into like, oh, this has never. It turns out that addiction is a symptom. It
Yeah.
sucks. It's a fucking symptom. It's a cry for attention. Like, bro, Gary, I've been fucking raped as a kid. I've been beaten. I've been all that great shit. I met my mom when I was 22. Blah blah blah. All that great. All that whatever it is, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not to trivialize it, you guys. I speak like this to let you know that you don't have to get stuck in that shit. You are not
Yeah.
what happened to you.
Yeah. And you're highlighting the, in spite of all that, you're still able to.
You're still definitely able to yeah, I'm highlighting it, and this is not to be like, oh, this is an insensitive look, I needed to do what I needed to do for myself in order to fucking be in that where I'm at, but I did never saw myself as a victim, and I did go down that rabbit hole a few times, but that didn't work for me. I was like, oh, this is not it. I'm actually bringing this upon myself. Ultimately, we're responsible for our fucking decisions, and we don't want to hear that, and it sucks. You know what I mean? But just know that it's there, you guys. That it's accessible to you, and that's the thing. Where religion, and this is not a bad thing, guys. This is the idea. Those who look outside, they dream. Those who look inside, awaken. Meaning that we like get inspired. If Gary resonates with you, get inspired. Get motivated with that. That's what it is. We're gonna need catalyst to spark flames, right? And the thing, humans, we all vibrate at a frequency. This is why even let's say you're in what town again?
Worthing.
If you go to Worthing and Brighton, and you go to Kensington, it'll feel different
Yeah.
because even within when you're at, there's a different collective unconscious that operates there, you know, and that collective unconscious is built by the individual unconsciousness of people. So what I'm trying to get at is that we all vibrate at a different like frequency. This is why some people are a cup of tea and some people are not. Like, this is just what it is. So find those people for yourself. You know, find those people, look outside, get inspired, right? For me, it was philosophy. For me, it was certain characters that are out there that I was like, wow, these people are doing something that can give me hope, right? But ultimately, like, we do learn from our community, but ultimately you're going to realize that just like Gary found his purpose, right? Or his own, by being his fullest expression, that what he wasn't able to do because he was always fucking drunk all the time. You know what I mean? Like, but he found his way, and he's a beacon now of hope for other fucking people. And that's just the way. And this is what I feel the motto of AA had a good aspect, that share your gift. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Share your experience. Lie, like give other people hope. You know what I mean? Or give other people the information. You know, like as Pablo Picasso, the purpose of life, the purpose of life is to find your gift. The meaning of life is to give it away.
Give it away. Yeah.
Yeah. So it turns out that my purpose is not in what I do. It's what happens to other people when I do what I do. That's it. Just like you, brother. Like, you know, now we're having this discussion, and look, we're connecting in a fucking disconnected world, bro. It's a lot of
Yeah. And
shit.
it does feel more disconnected than ever, even though we can connect easier than ever. There's just so much emptiness, and it's ironic that the one thing so many people need is solitude, but it's the one thing that everyone's terrified of.
Guys, and
There's
this is
so
it.
much connection everywhere, but so much of it's false that when you end up reverting into solitude, it's a scary place. But the growth out of solitude is
I,
massive.
I, I'm glad that you said this, okay? The individuation process, according to Carl Jung, and he made a few concepts brought to light. The shadow concept, meaning that we all have a shadow. Okay, everyone does, and it needs to be brought to light.
Hmm.
Where religion ignores that. Be good. It turns out that healing is a religious problem because we're trying to suppress the bad. You know what I mean? It's like, no, no, no. You're trying to integrate it, not suppress it, not ignore it. Okay?
Hmm.
So this idea is it's very much associated to, this is why you have different models of addiction and like, or when you go to A, and if I tell someone, oh, I'm never going to drink again, it was like, well, you never were really an alcoholic. You were never really alcoholic because everyone starts measuring their fucking dick. I used to get more fucked up. I used to get more fucked up. I used to get more fucked up. And those are the stories. What are we doing here? You know what I mean? Our egos start to get involved again. You know what I'm talking about? Like our ego starts to get involved as addicts.
Yeah, definitely. There's one thing that I have named myself throughout this social media experiment on Sober and Sound is a former alcoholic. And the AAs don't like that because once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. But like the word former to me works because I've done the work. I don't feel like, the idea, once an alcoholic, the AA idea of alcoholic is you will always be an alcoholic because if you have one, you'll get smashed out of your head every day again.
Yeah. No, I love that. I always tell people I was a professional alcoholic. I retired. I tell people all the time. No, I get you. I get you. But here it is. Here's the
I've
thing.
done it, but
Yeah.
like, why do I have to associate myself with that moniker
Yeah.
for the rest of
Here.
my life?
Here.
I'm
Here.
not coming to a meeting every week. I'm doing work at home, internally, privately, to rid myself of that past.
Right. Right. Yeah. I always tell people, like you're absolutely you're right. I always joke around saying that I'm a professional alcoholic and I just retired. But going back to what I said earlier about spiritus contra spiritum, I know now that I don't even like before I would go to the store and I would salivate, right? Or like, I would drink or get this temptation. But I'll tell you what, Gary, one of my favorite philosophers, Immanuel Kant,
Mm-hmm.
he had a quote that saved my life. If the truth shall kill them, let them die. And I applied that to myself. If the truth shall kill me, then death it is. I'm just one of these fucking people. My truth didn't kill me. And that's what I was actually drinking. Because I had a lot of uncomfortable things to unravel within myself.
Yeah.
Okay? So now when I say that the worst thing that could happen to me already happened to me because I don't see I survived my life already. The rest is just bullshit. I know I'm not going to drink. I get it now. I've awakened the spirit in me. Now
Mm-hmm.
it's not about that anymore. That's why I personally I respect when people say it. It's great, but I know now that I've awakened the spirit in me. Now for me, self mastery, and I'm in a different. I signed up for a different package on the post sobriety package, right? I'm after the self mastery package. So then that
But
kind of
everybody
helps.
wins with the self mastery package, don't they? You win and others win. So what's not to like?
Exactly. And this is the whole concept of individuation, Gary, that what truly makes us diverse is not that you're a British guy and I'm a fucking American guy or a Mexican guy or a man or a male is that Gary has a very unique frequency that when he turns into that, Gary becomes absolutely, and there's no other Gary, as there's no other Hammurabi. That's
Mm.
diversity. Diversity doesn't necessarily come. It's like there's this quote: "There's only individuals exist. Society is an illusion." Well, what are you talking about? Well, I have a society here. Yeah, but think about it. That's kind of maybe if everyone in society became their fullest expression, that means that we open up community within ourselves so we can give back.
Mm-hmm.
Good community doesn't come from good community. It comes from good individuals that are aware about
Individuals.
themselves
Yeah.
within that community. Do you understand me? So then we've had this fucking illusion. So what is it easier to do? It's easier to force religion on people, the Inquisition, but you fucking name it, history, than to awaken that within ourselves.
Mm.
Like it's a funny situation here. The way you want to get at it, it's not like being a good Christian or being this or that, and that's a different thing. This is why I tell people I was baptized by water as a fucking Catholic, Mexican Catholic, but I was given freedom through fire, my trials and tribulations of my life.
Yeah, beautiful.
I'm
That's
not I'm really
beautiful.
serious. That's pretty much it. Like it's the fire baptizes your spirituality. Water baptizes you in religion, but in spirituality you get baptized by fire.
I
And then
like
now
that.
and now you integrate those aspects within yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I
Fucking
love
Gary,
that.
bro, this is dope. I can go down anytime the rabbit hole.
I'd just
Like
like to
I
remind all the people listening that it's about 4:40 in your world right now in the morning or
at
whatever
six
time
o'clock,
it
six
is.
o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
I've
six
been here.
now.
Yeah, yeah. But I've been up now since 3 o'clock, 3:30. It's all right. This is what I do. I get up, and that's my own practice now. You know, my
Yeah,
own
yeah.
spiritual practice to do it, and to show. You know, what I mean,
But
to show
if you
from.
just be consistent with those practices, the rest of your life will take care of itself. You don't have to.
Yeah.
No, do you not think?
I'll tell you what, you guys. If you're in your 20s or your 20s and and you're fucking exploring the rails, right? Ultimately, you'll know what you're gonna do, but uh, set standards for yourself. The friends that we think we have may not necessarily be what's good for us, you know.
Mm.
And usually we tend to develop relationships based on our internal way of being, right? So I used to run with, people that I probably should not be around with. You know what I mean? Like, people don't give a fuck about me, right? They don't. Like, that's why I say when you drink, your fucking friends change. Everything changes, like when
Yeah.
you stop drinking, right? So I since I was given my freedom through fire, I'm one of the believers that uh, recognize your involvement in your particular situation. You know, just recognize that and give yourself more power by recognizing that you can do something about it. You know, and that's very very important because we're not told that. You know, instead we're told to give our life to something greater, but that greater is inside of you. You
Mhm.
see what I mean?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
stop. Let's cut the fucking middleman. It's inside of us, you guys. That great, that what you need is always going to come from yourself. Because this is what and it's funny too, because I think going back to your, what do you call it, to your rock bottom, right? Death ripens, you guys. The closer you get to death, the faster you can start to live. But you
Yeah.
don't have to wait that long. You don't
No, you
have to
don't.
wait that.
That's important,
That's
isn't
the
it?
thing. You don't have to wait that long.
But the alcoholic's way is to go down a path of mass self-destruction,
Bro,
and
do
that in
we know?
itself can be helpful because you do reach the point you needed to reach. But it doesn't always have to be like that. If you get that intervention or the right connection beforehand, the world can be your oyster.
Yes, and Gary, also for people out there, maybe because there's maybe out there like myself, I used to get fucking like my binges would start around the new moon or the full moon. I
Oh,
didn't know that. I was sensitive to the fucking moon. The term lunatic? You know where it comes from?
yeah, La Luna, yeah, of
La
course,
luna,
moon.
lunar, right? Because people would act funky around the new moon. I
Wow,
am
I
one of
never
those
thought of
people.
that. What the fuck? How did I
Yeah,
never think
exactly.
of that?
Gary, I'll drop some fucking
You
bombs
speak
on you guys.
Spanish as well.
Exactly. I speak Spanish and Chinese and Russian. Um, but yeah, the term lunatic, that's where it comes from. I would go on benches around this time, brother. I didn't even know. I was like, what's going on? Now, that's why I changed my name to the Primal Alchemist, because I'm a moon alchemist now in the way that I got into the woo shit. The esoteric, the occult knowledge, and all of that wisdom turned out to be so monumental to my sobriety, brother.
Mhm.
Because now it makes, and guess what? That wisdom is solidified by uh, all the shitty experiences that I've had. It almost seems like we're going back again to the suffering. Will
Yeah,
solidify this spirituality, and it will. And this is for you guys, okay? For the young people, remember, or even any age, no tree can grow to heaven. Can grow to heaven if its roots don't reach down to hell. Think about
yeah,
that for a little bit. This is why you have the what do you call it? The goody goodies. You know, as they say, the goody goodies are the thieves of virtue. You know what I mean? The goody good. It's not the job is not to be good. It's not don't be a fucking dick and don't hurt yourself. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Recognize that we do have shadow sides within ourselves. We do have that. But how do we do? That's the paradox of life. You know what I mean? That's the fucking
yeah, yeah.
paradox of life. It's like we're only supposed to have good experiences. Like no, the most beautiful souls will be shaped by their fucked up experiences,
Of
Gary.
course, of
Right? That's
course.
the way it works. You know? Woo! The word.
I don't know how you do it at this time in the morning. It's very impressive.
No,
It's
bro. Boy,
inspiring, though. I think it's.
yeah.
Do you know what? I think it's what the audience needs, though, because Craig and I are very kind of matter of fact British people that just talk in like straight facts. This happened. I did this. I thought this of myself. And behind the scenes, I do a lot of reading and the YouTube rabbit holes at the beginning in sobriety were wild, fucking crazy. I was like,
Right.
okay, I'm going to have to get YouTube to educate me on life and myself. It was the only thing I knew. The only way I knew how to do it. But yeah, Craig and me and Craig deliver it in a very kind of British lad way,
Mm.
you know, and to have people like you on just to open people's eyes and have people thinking from different perspectives. Because I think sometimes things that get people sober are one sentence from a podcast.
Mm. Mm.
They're in
Bro,
their
that's
kitchen
well
making a
said. Yeah.
coffee and the penny drops, and it's like, oh, I could never have worked that out on my own. I needed someone to just present it in a way. It's like the make your bed thing. Oh, so I've got a bed. It's not just making your bed. It's like the recognition you own a bed, and the bed is in a building that has a roof. So therefore, you're making your own area within your safe space as neat and tidy as it can be, and then a lot can grow from that belief.
Absolutely. For me, it was this sentence, okay? Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. I used to think that I was a fucking loser and this is what God wanted for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was that. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. That's what people do. They accept their fucking fate. Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck all that. Oh, but you sound like a fucking narcissist now. Look, whether I have narcissistic qualities in me, we all do. All right? And then not only that, but like it recognizing that I wasn't a fucking I mean I at the time I what I perceived to be a loser and that was it, my life and blah 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 and this is my destiny. Fuck no. What if your destiny was the pursuit of your higher self?
Mm-hmm.
What if that was your fucking destiny? Well, there's only one way to know. Are you operating from your highest self? And that's the thing. You know what I mean? But it's hard thing, and it doesn't mean that you always have to be good. That's the thing. It's not an illusion of oh you're good and you're a hypocrite. It's like no, just don't be an asshole to people. Recognize that within yourself. Come to grips within yourself. You know what I mean? But you're right, actually, Gary. That YouTube rabbit hole post addiction, like with your sobriety. I understand that. Yeah, and this
What are
is
you
why
doing
I'm
tonight? I'm staying
greatly.
in for 2 hours watching YouTube. Oh, are you getting sober? Are you? You know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I get it, Gary. By the way, I love your content. I think some of your whoever does your pictures or your designs is that you?
It's me. Yeah, I do it all. I've
Fuck,
done.
bro,
Yeah.
it's fucking cool as shit. Big inspiration like
Thank
for
you.
it. Actually, it it authenticity, brother, is just it's more of a superpower, and I'm learning that within myself. That the more you're authentic, the more that superpower grows. You know what I mean?
Well, I knew that authentically in my head, I thought if I could transfer that onto screen, people would buy into it. Because I knew when I was starting Sober and Sound that my only tactic would be brutal honesty from the off. Just be as honest as fuck all the time on every piece of content, and I think it shines through. I'm happy to admit my failings. I embrace them. I'm still proud of them as well. So look, just go and speak your truth and see who benefits from it. I know my truth, and if people can resonate with it, great.
Hmm.
You know.
That's it, brother. Like that's it. There's a lot of power to that, and like it's like you said, like you light a beacon of hope for other people, which is very, very important. And this is, I think, this is what not I think, but Bill Bauer, the creator of what is it, AA. That's one of the things I get it, I love the idea, that you do share your gifts and then you pay it forward, right? You
Mm.
know, but I would like to give a practical thing in addition to doing your bad. If you're wherever you are in the midst of your addiction, doesn't matter. If your alcoholism, wake up, drink water and salt in the morning every day. If you have lemon, throw that in there. Hydrate yourself.
Yeah.
Something that they don't tell us. Hydrate yourself. Hydration is very, very important. You know what
Well,
I mean?
I think getting sober is like a tactical war plan.
Hmm.
Personally, I think you have to be ready and prepared. You can't be prepared for every eventuality, but as long as you can mitigate most things, you're onto a winner. And I don't know what you did. Probably similar to me. I woke up and drank.
Me
So
too.
every day I set the tone for the day instantly. You know, right now I think probably more than ever, I wake up and I look at my phone, which is bad. I know that. But that's because I'm busy with Sober and Sound and I want to see what kind of activity's been going on while I'm asleep at night. But it does set the tone for me being stuck in my fit, having my head stuck in. So it doesn't matter what are the first steps in the day that you can take to dictate your sober day, you
Mm.
know. And if
Yeah.
that, and you're right, you know, like you have to understand the science of alcoholism and the science of getting sober. Once you understand that, you're armed with as mu- the more information you have, the better prepared you can be.
Absolutely.
So you have
And
to find out why your brain is like that, why you're having a craving. Why am I having a craving? Because before that, you'd have said, "Oh, I'm a weak character. I'm having a craving." It's like, no,
right.
bro. Learn the science that's going on inside your head that's making you have a craving. It's not you.
Right. That's a wow. I'm happy that you said that because it's that. Look, going back to this whole "I am an alcoholic." This is more Jungian psychology in it. Who, if I ask you, who's this I that you speak of? You'll be like, well, me. Well, Gary. Well, me. I'm the alcoholic. Okay. When you're talking to yourself, who's listening and who's who? Oh, well, you're just playing all these philosophical games. It's not. It's like, no, you guys. This is what, again, back again to Jung map of the consciousness. And the self is the archetypical image of God. And the self includes the I, the ego, right? The personal unconscious, the personal shadow, the collective unconscious. So
Mhm.
when I went to A and I say I am an alcoholic, it's like, oh no, 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 they're not saying I. That's not the higher self I. That is your egoic I. Your egoic I binds to your physical wants and needs.
Mm.
And alcohol is a carcinogenic. It's a fucking neurotoxin. If you drink a lot of it, you're going to want more of it. So the I that is addicted to your alcohol is your fucking body. Now, how do
Oh,
we know that?
it's golden.
Bro, how the fuck do we know that? Well, here, test it out for yourself. Think about it. Well, I'm an alcoholic. I can't stop drinking. Of course not, because you're alcohol dependent right now.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
do
because
you
your body
remember?
needs it.
But do you remember a time that you were not drinking? Well, maybe you may not remember because you're fucking drunk all the time. But no, there was a time that you're not drinking. That's not you.
13.
Do you know what I mean? That's you know what I mean. Whatever it may be. I started drinking too really young and early. But what I'm trying to get at is that we're not always in that. We don't know this. And the self is not something that is definitive. You get to build that on for yourself.
Mm.
So this is going back to this idea again. What do we do? Like if you're in sobriety, if you're in your 20s, right? You're trying to get sober in your 20s, in your 30s. It honestly it becomes easier in the early stages if you have the right support system and the right guidance. But as you're getting older, it becomes more difficult. It can be because you're already in your developed ego, so to speak. So you're gonna
Mhm.
have to uh, unlearn a lot of shit. Gary, the illiterate of the 21st century are not the people who are able to read and write, are the people, they're going to be the people who are not willing to learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Yeah,
That's the illiterate of the new fucking, of the 21st century. It
yeah,
means that it's not who knows it the most, who is the strongest, it's who is not fucking married to their own ways.
yeah.
That's what it
And
is. That's the
who's
true
most
measurement.
willing to cut those ties from their own ways?
As Albert Einstein says, the true measure of intelligence is someone's ability to change. It's not how much you fucking know. Fuck
Hmm.
no. Can you change? That's what it is. So don't be discouraged out there, you guys. Don't feel that you have to add more shit to you. If anything, you have to reveal yourself to you. It's a revelation to yourself, you
Yeah, it
know?
is. Sobriety is not the grim journey everyone thinks it is. It's actually you embarking upon a new era of self-discovery, which sounds beautiful. It's all about how you frame it, isn't it? It's about perspectives and angles. It doesn't have to be this miserable existence.
Right. But
It's a
yeah,
it's a
right.
beautiful journey. It's a beautiful thing. I loved getting sober.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, when,
I like the test of my metal every day. I enjoyed that. I enjoy because I needed it because I've just been weak the whole time and always hidden away from things. I like that influx of you must survive today.
right.
Next day, you got to do it again. I love that challenge.
And how has that, how confident has that make you feel now in your life?
Oh, mate. Almost indestructible.
Look, I don't have a
With
lot of
regards
accolades,
to
but
experiencing pain and suffering like I used to, no dramas, no stress. Like you said,
right
I didn't die, so what do I have to be scared of?
here, I don't have a lot of accolades in my life. I do, meaning like, I guess I am hard on myself, but I don't have a lot of accolades in my life. The most thing that I'm proud of is saving my own life,
Hmm.
and that makes me fucking comfortable and equal amongst men.
Yeah.
Even not like that. Like I don't give a I fucking, oh, this is a CEO. I don't give a shit, bitch. I don't
No.
care. I don't
Yeah.
give a
Yeah.
fuck. I don't give a fuck what you did. I will get to know you. I know myself in my worst. You know what I mean? And that to me, like that character, that you can't buy that. And I'll tell you why. Because no one's going to deliberate choose alcoholism as a lesson. You know what I mean? Like, no one does
Yeah.
that deliberate. So, in many ways, you guys, if you're out there and you're fucking going through it, know that if you go through it, that is going to fucking flip and you're going to become like all of a sudden this bad motherfucker. Like, there's no other way. Like, that's the only. See, here it is. In your rock bottom, that's where you are. Okay? On your heights, that's where you become,
Hmm.
right? So it's a very different thing. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you're not going to experience negativity anymore, but you already know your lowest point. That's nothing. That lowest point is very interesting. That's just where you are. But most people don't even know that for themselves. So
Mm.
you're lucky that whatever behavior or your own psychopathy kind of led you to this, life for whatever reason,
Recognition or
right?
yeah.
For all that, but all that stuff it's gonna work in your favor eventually. You know what I mean? Like it does, and just kind of pull through it. And you don't have to learn from in what I said, you can learn from others. Like take Gary's story, take Craig's story, take my story, whatever it is. Learn from people, but know that you don't have to go through it so that you can learn as well. But if you choose to do that, just be mindful about that aspect, which we're usually not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're usually gonna make decisions. But what it is like don't give up. You know what I mean? Don't
Oh,
give up. Like that. The truth is not a and God, like it's so subjective. The truth is yours, and you know your own psyche. Like meaning, you know where you are when you're alone. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? Like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's what matters. Conversations are nice. This is what I thought. It's not AA that keeps you sober. That's 1 hour of your fucking day. It's what you do within the next 23 hours.
Oh, mate.
You, you know what
Some
I'm talking
some
about?
some fucking truth bombs in this, mate. I tell you, it's going to
Like,
be very well received. That's
good.
amazing.
I'm glad, brother. What are you up to for the rest of your evening?
I am, well, it's 2:30 here. I'm about to go and meet a friend that I'm collaborating with regarding something that's coming in autumn about
Nice.
sobriety. I'm going to try and get this message bigger and beefier and further out there because I think I've reached a point. I actually needed this sober and sound for myself because I felt like I'd stagnated a little bit. The
Hmm.
explosive growth in the first 3 years of sobriety was what I needed, and then the 3 years of just experiencing life and catching up with the things I should have done was amazing. And then I came back to the UK and became a dad because I lived in Spain for a long time. When my sobriety began, I was in Spain, and I need to sink my teeth into something bigger now to help others.
Hmm.
So I'm collaborating with this fellow. We're going to meet this afternoon, and then I'll
Fuck yeah.
hang out with the kids, and just
Yeah,
generally be
bro. You're
some
living. You're living.
sober fucking legend. Yeah,
Yeah, bro. That's what it is. That's what it is. And I'm gonna encourage you, get the red book. Get the red book for
I will.
yourself.
I
But
will.
this book. People, I've spent 3 years on this fucking book. 2.5 years already, but 3 years now that I've it changed my life. Like now I study psychotherapy simply uh, to help people and having that knowledge. But I realized, bro, all the psychotherapists that I met, all of them, bro, they haven't done solved anything.
Mm.
It sucks. It's a weird thing. And
Mhm.
so I want to be, what I'm trying to say, I commend like someone like you. I'm sure the impact that you've had on people's lives is the age of professionals is over, Gary. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say that. It's professionals is fucking over because you know what? There's professional bullshitters. We already know that we've been lied to. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? We've been lied to on a lot of shit. Oh, trust the science. Fuck the science. You know what I mean? Don't be so science. No, no, no. Discernment. At the end,
Yeah,
we
and
have more
closed-minded
power.
and
We have more power than we fucking think that we have more power about. You know what I mean? And I'm sure, like, collectively as a society, you're dealing with your own bullshit things right there, as I am dealing with the same shit here.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? But like now, I've realized that, and I say this because I visited psychotherapists that wanted to give me drugs. I visited therapists that just were, oh, and what happened to you as a little kid? It's like, well, what the fuck? You're just, I already know this. Like, I'm not, this is not helping me. It's this perpetual fucking cycle of just being in crisis mode or survival
Mm.
mode. It's like, what the fuck? Because guess what? There's no business in healthy people, guys.
Yeah, yeah,
That also
exactly.
goes for the mental health too. Think
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Look, Gary, this is important. Just like how our anatomies and physiologies are the same across cultures and gender, it's the same for our mind, and that's the map of the psyche. All right, look into shadow work, look into Jungian psychotherapy, because he gave us a framework that we're able to do this for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so but if you can find someone that has done it, not study it, not just fuck studying. Like, I'm not one of these people, Gary, that just studies. Fuck all that. I'm living it every day. So people are only able to teach you up to their level of understanding. Anything more than that, mm-mm.
Hmm.
So just because someone has a fucking white coat and you see that person is not aligned, well, he's supposed to be a doctor, he's going to be this, you know, like, is he embodying it, right? Is he just about it? Is he just trying to make money off of this? And the majority of it, the biggest drug dealers are the ones with coats, bro. That's a fact.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a
Well,
fucking fact.
the yeah, it's so true. Bastards, shitbags.
It's what
All you need is a book and a bit of sunshine.
all you need is a book of and some nature, right? Like getting that connection. And yourself, your
Totally.
heart, brother, man. Fucking hell, bro. This is fun.
It's
Dude, this is
great.
great. Yeah. I feel like I can shoot the shit with you for a long time. I think we can do this like any other time too, bro. You
I
let me
think we
know.
should definitely have second part. I'd be well up for that. And you remind me a lot of one of my friends actually in Spain, which just gives an extra good vibe.
Gary, we're awakened souls. So there's another thing related to me. What you don't know is that so this is the age of Aquarius, the age of awakening, all right? And people make soul contracts before coming in here. Now, this is not you don't have to believe this or any of this. I know this now for a fact for myself. And the people that you meet for a reason. Either they're lessons of a previous fucking engagement or they're
Mhm.
something new, okay? Now, guess what? It's funny. I'm connected, right? I met after I got sober. I would have never looked up your account. I didn't look it up when I was trying to get sober because I wasn't in that frequency. After I got sober, I wanted to find out what other people were doing, you know.
Mhm.
So you're in that mission and you're doing that mission from your part of the world, and now with the internet you're branching out, right? So you're also awakened in that regards. And there's this theory that we kind of we Earth is a school for souls to come and learn and manipulate energy, and every experience that we have, whether good or bad or anything, that's the purpose of whatever it is. And we're trying here, and the whole thing is unlearning who we are so we can know what's our
Yeah,
purpose
yeah,
in here. And the more authentic, see, if I wasn't authentic, I would never fucking connected with you, and vice versa. Do you know what I
hmm
mean? So
yeah.
um
Authenticity is like it's like magnets, isn't it? I think.
I'm sure, bro. Like I feel now. I'm one of I'm one of these people that has the just, for the lack of a better word, belief that you are the eyes through which the creation experiences itself. It means we're
Mhm.
all the same fucking thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's kind of like, and that simplifies everything, because then that Gary's a human being, and it's, he's got his needs and his wants and everyone else, and that's the true empathy for people, bro. It's not that you're Brit, bro. No one gives a shit. I mean,
Yeah. No one cares. I've lived in 5 countries. I don't give a fuck about any of that.
fuck all. And see, that is only among some people that have experienced their depths. That and it's only, so this is, if you're experiencing the depths of your depths, hang in there. Hang
Hang
in
in
there.
there because one day your light will be someone else's.
That mustard seed does grow into
Yeah,
a
it does.
fucking thing, and then that's how you my roots went down a fucking hell. That's how I'm able to go up to heaven, so
Love
to
it.
speak.
People are
Yeah.
going to love this episode, really.
Cool,
I'd like to
brother.
thank you for your
Cool.
time, mate.
Of
Really,
course,
really
brother.
appreciate it.
Let me know, tag me, whatever you need to. I just started following the other account, and
Cool.
I'm gonna
Amazing.
take a shot of you, brother. I'm gonna tag Gary in there and be like, no, not Gary, Craig, and be like, Craig, we missed you, bro.
Yeah.
All right, my man. Enjoy
Top
the
man.
rest of your afternoon.
Well, tell us where can the people find you? Because your account's something else. I love it.
Oh, sure, thanks. So the name is Hammurabi Fuentes, and the account is at the Primal Alchemist. At the Primal Alchemist, and I'll let you know that you're also an alchemist. If you ever transmuted love into pain, that makes you an alchemist. So keep that in mind.
Well, I'm certainly trying. Brilliant. Thanks very much.
All right, my man. Have a beautiful afternoon, huh?
Speak soon. Take care.
Peace.
Cheers, bro.